Time now for some offensive roster battles for your Dallas Cowboys. We talked about the defensive side. Now let's focus in on offense. Now, offense line has some starting spots open, but we're going to begin with a sexier position. That is the wide receiver group. Your top three, you guys know it, are totally locked in. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup, and CeeDee Lamb. The question mark for me and beyond that is what happens at wide receiver 4, 5, and maybe 6. There are some returning players who have had Cowboys experience. Cedrick Wilson, Devin Smith, Noah Brown, and Ventel Bryant. Those players have suited up and played and produced stats for the Dallas Cowboys. Devin Smith has had the most success. Noah Brown's been around the longest. Maybe Cedrick Wilson is the most intriguing. I think those first three names have the best shot. Or maybe it's actually Jon'Vea Johnson. Now, as a reminder, A, you guys loved him last year. You were all convinced he was going to play a huge role. Then he had drops in the preseason, and although he's got the speed and some of the route running that you want, tough to play receiver when you're not actually receiving the football because you can't catch it. I think Jon'Vea Johnson have another chance to step up in the camp and in all of that. He's the one I'm maybe most excited to watch because if you want a vertical threat, maybe you try and get Jon'Vea to be that guy over Devin Smith. Now, there are some undrafted free agents the Cowboys also picked up. I'm curious who you guys eventually latch on to. Normally we have one by now, but no rookie minicamps, all of that, so we can't get caught up in the hype. There's Aaron Parker, there's Stephen Guidry, and Kendrick Rogers. Rogers has the size of that group. He was the highest on my board coming out of the NFL draft, but wasn't that high in the end. Also, Tevin Jones on the roster, but and that's okay. No one does. So who should be the number 4 receiver on the Dallas Cowboys? Who should handle that role behind Cooper and Lamb and Gallup? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on this video. So get the ad break here on YouTube. Scroll on down and cast your votes. Let's go to some starters now. Left guard, which I think is, in terms of the offense, the one I'm going to watch the closest, the one that I'm most intrigued by because I still have faith in Connor Williams. I've seen growth over his NFL career. I've also seen him get hurt. That is a significant red flag to me. He is 2 for 2 on getting hurt in his NFL career during the season. That's a big issue for me. Cost him at least part of this offseason preseason and might cost him part of camp. He says he's going to be good to go for week 1. I hope he is. And although he was better last year, you could see a scenario where if Williams misses a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks of camp or whatever, that opens the door for somebody else to step up and emerge as an option at left guard, and that's probably the other Connor. That's Connor McGovern. Now, he missed his rookie season with a pectoral injury. Didn't play at all. It was a pretty big disappointment for the Cowboys, who, by the way, had a second-round grade on him. Because Williams is hurt, I believe that McGovern will have a legitimate chance to earn the starting job at left guard in camp this year. And if not, he might compete for a different position that we'll get to in a second. So pick a left guard for me. Type M for McGovern or type W for Williams. I go with Connor Williams. I still remain with my belief in him. I know some of you are out on Seawilt. I can kind of understand why. So cast your votes, M or W. Now, while you guys are voting here, I'll remind you that this Cowboys 4th of July shirt is still available. Chatsports.com/Cowboys4th. 20% off at that link. I mean, it just makes sense, right? 4th of July is American. The Cowboys are America's team, and that's never going to change, just so we're clear. You can rep the Cowboys, and that's America's team on the 4th of July, America's Day. It just makes sense, right? Chatsports.com/Cowboys4th. Go check that shirt out. I mentioned center and a different position potentially for Connor McGovern. Joe Looney, of course, I think is the favorite right now. Tyler Biadasz could be an option, the rookie out of Wisconsin. Adam Redmond's hanging around. You could move the Connors to center. I don't think that's all that likely. So I'm going to focus in on Looney and Biadasz. For now, I believe that Looney is your favorite to start. And I think the drafting of Biadasz, by the way, probably impacted McGovern more than anything else just because now there's another young guy at that position. Now, Looney's kind of I'll call him the assumed starter, or maybe projected starter. He's done it before for the Cowboys, but unlike that year where he was kind of an emergency replacement, the Cowboys have explored and added other options, namely Biadasz, the rookie out of Wisconsin. Remember, the last time the Cowboys had a center out of Wisconsin, things turned out pretty darn well. What I think works against the addition this offseason is, A, he's also coming off some injury stuff. A shorter preseason, a different type of camp, a limited preseason games, reduced preseason games, that hurts young players because they need reps, they need experience. And if there's less of it to go around, that hurts them. So I hope that he earns the job because that to me says, you know what, this works out perfectly. The young guy earned the job over the vet that we think can do the job at him. So let me know in the comments who you think is going to start at center for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, there aren't many starting jobs available for the Cowboys on offense, but there are plenty of depth jobs that we're going to get into here. If you want to have a spoiler alert on who I think will actually win these jobs, go check out our 53/55-man roster projection. It's available on the channel. If you haven't already, hit that big red button and subscribe. On now to the tight end number 2 battle between Blake Bell and Dalton Schultz, neither of whom have really done very much in their young NFL careers. They've been backup tight ends. Dalton Schultz barely played last year, at least in the passing game, for the Dallas Cowboys. Blake Bell was once a kind of a quarterback hybrid type of guy for Oklahoma. The Belldozer package was fun. So, of course, Blake Jarwin, that number 2 role up in the air. Maybe it's Dalton Schultz, maybe it's Blake Bell, maybe one of the other guys on the roster can impress. Sean McEwen can block pretty well. So maybe it's Dalton Schultz, maybe it's Blake Bell. It's a lesser battle, but it is a battle that matters, especially because, what happens if Blake Jarwin gets hurt? Do you trust Dalton Schultz? Do you trust Blake Bell? I kind of don't. So pick a tight end 2 for me, because I want to hear what you guys have to say. Who is it? S for Dalton Schultz or B for Blake Bell? I'm going to go with Schultz because I think the number 2 tight end role, as long as Jarwin is healthy, is going to go to a blocker, and I think Dalton Schultz can be a solid blocker for the Dallas Cowboys. A 2-for-1 package now here, the backfield in general. We all know Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard, those guys are locks on the Cowboys roster. The fullback spot, if they carry a number 3 back, well, that's a little bit more up in the air. Now, Jameis Olawale is back on the Cowboys after literally not recording an offensive stat last year. Didn't have any receptions, didn't have any carries, did drop a pass. Not a great combo there. The Cowboys, though, did pick up his option. They could cut him, not say very much. Well, where that might make sense, though, is if undrafted free agent Shelo Alanalua can impress in camp, especially on special teams. That's worth monitoring. But I'm a little bit more intrigued by, is this the year the Cowboys full-time carry a number 3 back? They've gone thin there because, well, they got Zeke and they got Tony Pollard. But maybe Rico Dowdle or Darius Anderson could earn a role. Maybe they could earn a role on special teams. The Cowboys have Pollard as one return man. Maybe CeeDee Lamb is the other. You might want another option there if you want to keep those guys a little bit more fresh and healthy. So you guys know Jordan Shun. He's been around the Cowboys for a couple years now. Darius Anderson, UDFA out of TCU, and Rico Dowdle, the UDFA out of South Carolina. Cast your votes for me, 1, 2, or 3. Over now to the swing tackle spot, which if everything goes according to plan, the Cowboys never see either of these guys on the field because that means Lael Collins and Tyron Smith, they're humming along nicely. Or at least maybe I should clarify, never see them on a field in a moment that matters. Late in the game, sure, whatever, when you're pulling the starters. The Cowboys added Cam Erving, paid him more than he was worth because he sucked last year. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you guys and sell you a fake bill of goods. Cam Erving was horrible for the Chiefs. Now, he's played every spot on the offensive line, left tackle all the way down to right tackle. The problem is he's not good at tackle. Now, Brandon Knight actually very much intrigued me when he was pressed into duty as a rookie UDFA out of Indiana last year. I would rather see Brandon Knight be the guy because I don't think Cam Erving's very good. Now, hopefully I'm wrong and that maybe this is different. Maybe this is the time that Cam Erving suddenly has a better year and lives up to his first-round billing. I just don't think it's going to end up happening. So who do you want as a swing tackle? E for Cameron Erving or K for Brandon Knight? I'm actually going to type in my K. I was pleasantly surprised by him last year. I've seen enough of Cameron Erving to know that if he has to play, look, I hate to bring back the name, but I have visions of Chaz Green dancing in my head. That's kind of a big red flag for me. So you guys let me know what you think. E for Cam Erving, K for Brandon Knight, but I'm going to type in my K for Knight. Finally, to wrap things up here, Dak Prescott versus Andy Dalton. I'm kidding. It's the number 3 quarterback job. Can Ben DiNucci earn it? And not only that, is this a spot on the active roster, or is this a spot on the practice squad? Now, Clayton Thorson was a draft pick by the Eagles, not this past year, but the year before that. 6th round, I believe, out of Northwestern. DiNucci was the 7th round pick out of James Madison. Put up some pretty good production at a much lesser level, which, of course, is a significant red flag. Finally got some of his game film, and I can see why the Cowboys took him. There's some intrigue there. You're also not ever going to press him into duty. So DiNucci's battle is really just to see if he can even make the roster. If he can beat out Thorson as this is our young developmental quarterback that we're going to try for. I don't know if DiNucci will actually end up making the team. I think there's a good chance he's making the practice squad instead, but with a shorter preseason, that does reduce, A, the opportunities for him to make some plays and show out, and also, B, reduce the chances of DiNucci even having much of a chance to do so. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.